My question for you is if you believe that Trump's deportation of illegal immigrants is unconstitutional.
Oh, it's very constitutional, yeah.
Okay. I disagree with that. I believe that it is in a violation of the Fifth Amendment, which provides due process to all persons in the United States. This would include non-citizens, and many of these people are being deported without having a trial or going before a judge, which is in violation of the due process.
Yeah, so you are right that you are right if there's an illegal here and they commit a crime while they are an illegal citizen or legal resident or legal individual, illegal, they do get due process. However, there's two exceptions to that. There's something called expedited removal. So if someone comes within 14 days or they're within 100 miles of the border, the Supreme Court has ruled that you do not have to give them the same due process rights. Or if you invoke the Alien Invasion Act, which President Trump has, 1798 law, which allows you to expel people that are here that might be part of enemy gangs or enemy organizations that have invaded the homeland. So under those two provisions, you are allowed to expel people here in the country without traditional due process rights.
Well, I do have some issue with that, specifically with your second point of Trump relying on the Alien and Sedition Act. We can see that whenever Joe Biden
It's not the Sedition Act, but you're close.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
no, you're good. It's the Alien Invasion Act, but it's fine. It's all good. It's actually, they were passed right next to each other, so you're not that far off.
So we can see with Joe Biden, when he tried to forgive student loan debt, he was relying on a law that was roughly 20 years old. And the Supreme Court said in that case that a president relying on a law that was passed in a time that's too different from today's times can be unconstitutional. And I think if that was ruled to be unconstitutional with the law only being 20 years old, that Donald Trump relying on a law that was passed in the 18th century would be very unconstitutional.
That point sounds smart. Should we get rid of the First Amendment?
I'm confused where you're going with that.
It's pretty old.
The First Amendment has
It's
been...
from 1787. Should we get rid of the abolition of slavery? That's from the 1860s. Should old laws be getting rid of? Just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. Should we get rid of the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment? You're the one arguing for due process, which actually was authored in 1791.
Well, the difference
so
is
old
that
stuff
these
doesn't
laws...
mean it's bad. It just means to just criticize it on its merits, not how long it's been around.
But these things have been reaffirmed several times. With the First Amendment, there have been several cases regarding the First Amendment. We can see that it was incorporated into the states. We can see with other cases like West Schoolbird versus Barnett.
Same with the Alien Invasion Act. It's never been ruled unconstitutional. It's been heard many times.
But when has it been reaffirmed by the Supreme Court?
Multiple times. It's never, I believe in like 1850, there was another, 1950. It hasn't in the last couple of decades, of which there will be a legal challenge. But understand, this is specifically about Tren de Aragua and MS-13. That is specifically the carve-out of this law that allows the president to have expedited removal of people that are affiliated with enemy gangs that, by the way, have committed crimes here in the interior of the country, to get them off our homeland. And so the question really is, if you're part of an enemy gang, shouldn't you go back to your country of origin and not stay here in the United States of America when you're raping or murdering or having domestic violence or abuse? Not only that, the American people overwhelmingly voted for that in November.
Well, I don't believe that these people who are being deported are affiliated with a criminal organization. At least the majority of them aren't. The Trump administration has deported...
Every one of them has documentation that they're part of MS-13, including Garcia from Maryland.
That's not correct.
No, the Maryland dad, actually, it's come out. He was part of MS-13, acknowledged he was part of MS-13. He actually beat his wife in 2021. His wife says, I actually don't want to be around my husband anymore because my husband Garcia is beating me. He said he was afraid to go to El Salvador because an enemy gang was going to come after him. Enemy gang, that sounds like a gang member to me. And guess what? You should be happy. He's home. He's from El Salvador, and he's back in his country of origin. We sent him home. He's not an American. He's not an American resident. He's not an American citizen. He's not here legally. He broke into the country, committed crimes, was part of MS-13, and was removed under this provision back to his country of origin, all of which is legal and perfectly accessible.
You're saying all these things, and while they might be true, they've not been shown to be true. And the Trump administration claiming that these things are true gives dangerous precedent.
No, but
if the Trump administration can just claim that a person living here is part of a gang.
He acknowledged it. It's not. He said it in his own asylum cases. In 2019, his own documents, he said, I am part of a gang that if I go back to El Salvador, I will be murdered. I need asylum in America because another gang might murder me. And again, this guy beat his wife. Like, why are Democrats going out of their way to defend the worst of our society? Maybe they should fight this hard for American citizens for once. Like, You want to know why Trump is so popular? The left goes out of their way to fight for foreigners that have broken into our land and commit crimes and that have affiliation with the worst organizations on the planet, while the American citizen is being left behind. That is the power of our movement, and I wish the American left would have some spirit and some fight for the forgotten men and women of this country. Not just foreigners here illegally. Final point, if you'd like to make one. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.